Welcome to another episode of Dental Marketing Mastery. My name's Saleh Khan. I'm the Director of Professional Growth here at New Patients Incorporated, and I'm joined by the one and only Mark Dilitush, CEO of New Patients Inc.
Hey
How's it going,
everybody.
Mark?
Hey Sal.
All right. Yeah, me, Mark, you just came back from another fishing tournament. How did it go?
I went fine. Thousand Islands is a beautiful place. It's unlike anything else that we ever go to. I enjoy it and I'd like to spend 6 or 8 weeks there. We ended up in like the middle of the pack as far as results, but we enjoyed ourselves.
Hey, any day fishing is better than no day fishing.
Exactly.
Awesome. So, Mark, I figured we share this podcast about some of the trending topics I'm coming across. A lot of dentists I'm coming across that we chatted about are feeling like the slowdown and slowing down compared to where they were this year. And I figured it'd be a great topic for us to discuss and share some tips and guidance with them.
Yeah, I mean, uh, for those who don't know, we have meetings about what's going on in the dental world relatively regularly. What the customer service people are hearing, what the sales people are hearing, what the marketing people are hearing, and such. And I actually got a call from one of my favorite consultants who refers to us, Laura Russell. I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday, and we talked for about 45 minutes. She has a client who's slowing down, and she said it's not her only client, but she's starting to see a trend here too, and she's here in New Jersey. Um, so Sal and I said, well, let's just do a podcast about it because we're seeing the same thing nationally, right? We're look, everybody listening to this podcast is not clearly not slowing down, but there are more people slowing down now than there were before, and I think we can use this podcast time maybe to put their minds at ease a little bit or give them some milestones or triggers to where they might want to take some kind of corrective action. Um, so let's take a look at why things are slowing down now. So 3 years ago, we had this thing called COVID. Everybody remembers it. You guys were probably, or most of you were put out of work for at least 1 month, maybe 2 months. And if you actually do the math and you look at the interruption of that on a spreadsheet, it's going to take 2 or 3 years to go and with your normal schedule, add those people back into your schedule. Um, and 2021 and 2022, what did we hear? What did we hear from our clients? What did we hear from prospects calling or, for new marketing plans? We heard, we're really busy. Like, I'm not calling you to get new hygiene patients. I'm calling you because I want what, Sal? What are some of the things dentists are asking for now?
Oh, they're big about niche patients, more implants, more
More
Invisalign, more
implants,
sleep
more
apnea.
Invisalign. Right. And that's what dentists do when they get busy enough in hygiene. They go, well, let's go do some more fun work or more profitable work or get me these kinds of patients. Right. So it's perfectly natural. COVID wasn't perfectly natural, but the trying to trying to manage your normal hygiene schedule plus 2 whole months of your schedule takes about 2.5, maybe 3 years. Um, because these people came back to you based on their comfort and their comfortability. In other words, how comfortable were they um, with going back to a healthcare office after COVID? Some people said, I'll go next week. And some people said, I'm waiting 2.5 years. Okay. So now we're 2.5, 3 years, past COVID. Most all of you have gone through all those patients who delayed for their own personal reasons. Another interruption to that, though, which actually added work to your schedule, was the government. The government said, here, take $5 trillion. And people got the money and they spent it. And some of them spent it in your dental office. I mean, they spent it with boats and cars and everything else, but they also spent it in your dental office. That happened 2020 and 2021. And we're starting to almost all the industries are starting to see, though, that's kind of waning off too. Like, okay, we spent $5 trillion. Okay, there's not too many people with it left in their bank account. So I'm going to get to the point of why you might be slowing down. If you've gone through all those patients, and the patients with the money have pretty much, when they've made a decision to spend some or all of that money on dental care because, they really hated their smile for all these years and now they can finally afford it and do it. And once you get through all those people, you kind of end up back where you were in 2019 before COVID, which is really the old normal. We've talked about the new normal through COVID. This is more like the old normal. Okay. Okay. So you had this gigantic spike in patient demand. There was an obvious artificial financial incentive, injection, of money into the system. And when money gets into the system, just like 2004 and 2005, people spend it on more elective things, right? And dentistry is one of the electives, or certain types of dentistry is one of the elective things. So you all just spent a whole bunch of time and a whole bunch of effort on a whole bunch of established patients, taking care of your established patients over the last, let's say, 2 or 3 years. And I'm going to guess, this is just a guess, so don't hold me to this, but I'm going to guess that you were you didn't really care about your new patient numbers while you were booked out for 6 or 8 months, right? It's okay. It's perfectly natural. Marketing was not really a priority. Why would you market a dental practice when you can't even get them in the front door in a month? Like, why would you even do that? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So while dentistry was going through this, and I bet half of you, if you look at your new patient numbers, 2023, January 1st through, let's say, August 2023, and you compare them to 2019, I bet half or more of you are down in new patient numbers. And it doesn't make sense because you were so busy. But if you think about it, your new patient numbers are down because you were so busy. Okay. So all of this is happening while you're trying to hire a new front desk person, a new assistant. Oh my God, my hygienist left. I can't find anybody anywhere. All these other things that COVID threw at you. I mean, obviously your attention was distracted away from marketing naturally. But now, now that we've come down to the old normal, which is basically 2019, many of you, not all of you, but many of you are going, oh, wait a second. I'm not booked out 6, 8 months anymore. I got holes in my schedule 3, 4, 5 weeks from now, where a year ago there was no openings. I was looking for associates, okay, just to handle. I was going to build a whole other, wing on my office just to handle the demand. And now you're not seeing the demand as great. So now I'm going to talk about a natural occurrence in some dentists' minds. This is the part of the podcast where you maybe want to be a little introspective and say, yeah, okay, we're slowing down, but we're not in danger. When you're booked out 6 to 8 months for 2 years, you get this false sense of security that that's the norm, right? Wow, I'm a great dentist. I'm so popular. And you are a great dentist and you are popular. I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense for you to be booked out solid 6 to 8 months from a business standpoint. So when now you're only booked out 4 months, it looks like a tragedy because it's not as good as it was a year ago. Well, we're going to tell you it's not a tragedy, okay? It's just a slow tapering off from the impact of COVID to the old normal of 2019, which brings us to, well, how do I know when this slowing trend has reached the 2019 old normal levels? And the answer is you really don't. But you can fall like a stone off a cliff, or you can slowly parachute down to your normal. That's with it totally and completely within your control. So dentist says, well, how do I do that? And I say, well, the dentist who doesn't do anything is going to find their new normal faster, and it's probably going to be a more precipitous drop, right? It's going to go faster, right? And it's
Yep.
probably going to be more stressful and more unnerving. But you're not going to tank your practice, right? You just won't. And then at some point, you're going to say, well, I have to do something now. And then it's going to be an emergency. And whoever you get to help you isn't going to do as good of a job as they could. That's what's going to happen. Or you can go to your practice management software right now, run a new patient report for 2023 between January 1st and August, whatever today is, August 22nd. By the time you see this, September 1st, that's fine. Run a report for the first 9 months of 2023 and compare it to the first 9 months of 2019. And unless you were in some kind of a transition in 2019 with your practice, over half of you are going to see less new patient numbers in 2023. If you want your parachute to slowly come down to the new normal, you will start to pay attention to marketing again now, rather than when it becomes an emergency. Okay. Marketing is never good as an emergency, or it's harder and it's more stressful. And you know what? Honestly, it costs more. It costs more, right? Because I have to overspend for ads. I have to overspend for mail. I have to overspend for this stuff just to, you don't have to do
Push the
that.
dial faster, right?
Yeah.
Because it takes time
Yeah.
for your marketing to build momentum.
Yeah. You should never do it on an emotional level. You should do it on a business level, right? So I would encourage everybody listening to the podcast to go look at those new patient numbers, 2023 versus 2019, before COVID ever happened. Same 9 months. And because you were so busy, my guess is that you really didn't pay attention to your new patient numbers, and you probably shut off your marketing, because why would you market if you're booked out so far? And we also know, I know Sal and I talk a lot about templating your schedule, your practice management schedule for new patients. But I also know about 10% of the people actually listen to us and do that. So 90% of you don't, right? So there really wasn't any room for new patients for the last, 3 years in your practice. So go do that measurement. So if 2023 is less than 2019, you might want to think about maybe ramping up some marketing a little bit, at least, to try and get your new patient numbers up to where they were in 2019. Then when you parachute down to a nice, comfortable level wherever you were in 2019. You still have 3 or 4 months worth of patients to work through you're probably overbooked now. And, your practice will go, it'll just slowly glide in for a beautiful landing. And you won't have to worry and stress and do things on an emergency basis. It's kind of cool that Sal's noticing a lot of people, a lot of dentists, calling us for niche services, implants
Yeah.
and Invisalign, some cosmetics even. That makes sense. That makes sense when you're on the you're on the wheel and you're running fast as you can, trying to get through all those patients on your schedule, and your production's not really going up. You just keep running, and then pretty soon you're like, man, I need some higher dollar things here. I need some. Or you're a dentist who, like, if you do see another 2-service composite, you're just going to grab a pencil and stick it in your ear. Like you want to do more fun work. Like you went to the implant course and now you're all jacked up and you want to do implants. That's all great. But it contributes, right? What you don't want to do, here's what you do not want to do. You do not want to come out of this slow down and pour 100% of your marketing budget into implants. That makes no sense whatsoever, because here's what that's going to do. That's going to spend more of your money and make your fall faster. You don't want to do that. So maybe a mix, 80-20, 70-30. Keep promoting the benefits of the dentistry you provide to the entire family. And then use 30% of your budget for just implants, maybe. Like don't throw all your marketing dollars into what your
And
favorite
and one of the things I
procedure.
usually, yeah, no, I agree with you there. And then one of the things I usually find as a big aha for a dentist is showing them the search volume for those cosmetic services or those
Tell
niche
them how to do
services.
that. They can do that.
Google's keyword planner. You can look up your area, you can look up your county and start looking at what's the trend. What are patients searching for in my market? Are they searching for dental implants? Has it increased or decreased over the last 3 months, year over year? Where is it? And it also gives you an idea of what is the perceived need for those dental services online. And if it's not there online, then you want to diversify your marketing plan. You want to naturally go offline.
Yeah, well, or both. We do both all the time. Do online and offline. Right. So, um, yeah, so okay, now this is August, the end of August. We know, forgive me, but we know
September's coming.
September is coming, right? It's the same September there always was for dentistry, outside of orthodontics, because orthodontics September is great. Um, but for if you're a dentist other than an orthodontist, you're looking at September and going, "This is going to suck," right? It it This September coming is not, that has really nothing to do with COVID or your ramp, or how you, or the fact you can't get anybody at your front desk or your assistant or hygienist. It has nothing to do with that. September sucks because mom's attention is elsewhere. If she has children, they have school. If they have school, she has paperwork. If they have sports, she has paperwork. If they have sports, she's driving to 97,000 different places every day. Her and her husband are driving all over the place with the kids to get them where they need to go. She has parent-teacher conferences. If you look at a mom's schedule in the month of September, you're like, oh, Jesus, how am I going to handle all this, right? That's why you have a slow September. It doesn't have to be slow. There are things you can do, right, to make it as good as possible. But it's not because you're a bad dentist. It's not because your team treated him improperly. It's none of those things. It's because mom's attention. It's the same thing through the last 3 weeks in December during the holidays. Her mom's whole schedule fills up. You got business lunches, business dinners, Christmas dinners. You got kids, you got gifts, you got all this stuff, right? And that's her attention. Her attention's over here. It's not necessarily on dentistry, right? So anyway, so don't look at September, as your motivational trigger to start marketing again. Just look at your 9-month new patient numbers versus this year versus 2019. And like, let's say you averaged in 2019 25 new patients a month, and now you're averaging 18. There's your answer. That's how you stop the angle of decline. And you may even grow, but the goal would be to slowly parachute down to the old normal, which was 2019. I know it's convoluted and I know there's a lot involved. There is a lot involved. There was a lot involved. And your attentions were all over the place because everything was involved. But now we're out of it. Now we're 3 years out of it. Now it's time to get back to the 2019 normal and then grow from there. I mean, that's where we are right now as an industry. Many of you, not all of you. Some of you are so busy still that you may not even feel this until next August, but it's coming. Okay. Every market's different. Every dental practice is different, but it is definitely coming because hopefully they're not going to throw another $5 trillion into the economy, right? I mean, we can't afford to do that forever. And hopefully we don't have another pandemic.
Yeah.
That's why.
Awesome.
All those reasons why is what you're seeing in your office.
Excellent. Awesome, Mark. Thank you very much for those insight tips, and hopefully it helps our listeners out there.
Anytime, anytime.
Cool. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Stay tuned for our next podcast. And if you guys have any questions or need help, feel free to reach out to us.
Bye bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye bye.